Hey everyone, we got a lot to talk about this morning. Hopefully you're doing all right. Hopefully you got your coffee pulled up. We got a 22-year veteran of the Postal Service who's going to be telling us what is happening at the processing centers and what's about to happen at the processing centers for the post office. We got Tyson out there shutting down 2 more meat plants. We got millions more egg layers put down on the 29th. Steve, is that in addition to the million that you talked about yesterday? Yes, friends, it is in addition to the million we talked about yesterday. We got Russia out there trying to ask questions and get answers from the U.S. government on the Washington, D.C. airplane crash. The fact that we have to state which crash we're talking about is troubling, but they're not getting any answers from the federal government either. We still don't know who the pilot was. We got egg prices continuing to go up for stores and restaurants. That's not going to change anytime soon. And we got some practical tips and tricks to deal with the egg shortage. And we need to warn you once again about a big scam that could cost you thousands of dollars. That and more from the Watchman community. Let's get into it. Welcome to the Poplar Report. I'm Steve Poplar. I'm an accountant by trade. And these are your updates that you guys are sending in from all over the Watchman community, watching out for each other and seeing what's going on out there. Appreciate all of you who submit things. If you have something to share, make sure you use the word update somewhere in your comment. That gets it to the right place. We do want to thank our sponsor, Genesis Gold Group. They help people who have retirement accounts to get out of stocks and bonds. A lot of you guys have heard me talk about them enough times. Just know that they are like-minded. And they're good folks over there who believe in what we're doing here at this channel and with the Watchman community at large. So if you want to talk to them, there'll be a link at the end of the video for you to find out more. And you can just get information. There's no obligation whatsoever to move forward with them, but just to ask those questions. All right, let's start off with the Philadelphia airplane crash. We'll get to the other ones. 4 airplane crashes in 4 days. But we talked about that yesterday, didn't we? Yesterday afternoon. All right, well, it turns out the 6 people on board the Philadelphia plane were all Mexican citizens. One was a woman. Other people are saying child, so not sure her age. But she was treated in Philadelphia. But all 6 people, the medical personnel on board the aircraft, as well as the patient, they were all Mexican citizens. Tragedy for sure, and people on the ground too. Tyson is out there closing down more meat plants. They're saying that they're centralizing their production and scaling back. So the question I have is, what do they know that we don't know? Do they know that they're not going to have enough workers? Because we got a bunch of production plants out there that are shutting down production lines right now and have been for the past week because all of their workers aren't showing up. This is a big problem. This is probably going to impact store shelves in the near future. Just the fact that these production lines are shutting down, distribution hubs, warehouses are shutting down because there just aren't enough workers to get the things done. So maybe that's what Tyson's doing, but they've been planning on these shutdowns for months now. Do they worry that they're not going to have enough chicken and enough meat? That could be very real. Tyson could be thinking that they're not going to have enough chicken and meat to process, and so therefore they're cutting back their production. Or maybe people won't be able to afford the chicken or meat that they're going to be producing. And in addition to that, they are centralizing. They want to move these plants closer to the inner cities. Have you ever heard about the 15-minute cities? That's what they want to do. They want to move the manufacturing of food right into the cities where they can get cheap labor. They were kind of counting on having a whole bunch of people from other places, but they want cheap labor, cheap unskilled labor. Tragedy that they view things like that, but all right, on to here. We got Dark County, Ohio. We've been warning you that things are going sideways there. That's a major egg-laying hub of the United States. 1.4 million more egg layers put down in Darke County, Ohio. That was on the 29th. The data from APHIS does kind of come in a little slower, and so that happened a few days ago. Not a good sign. We have massive cullings happening right now. Now, we have word out there that Donald Trump and his administration are moving on this stuff. They're trying to figure out how to stop murdering all the birds. Just don't ask Hillary Clinton, because she make them all disappear, if you know what I mean. Trump on Thursday confirmed that U.S. officials were in contact with the Russians directly regarding the Washington, D.C. crash. However, the Russians say that their requests for more information have been stonewalled. Sort of like us ordinary citizens, right? We can't know the pilot's name or the pilot's gender. I mean, just think about this. Imagine a family member of yours was killed because some federal officer, some federal employee screwed up. And then you get told after the fact that they're not going to let you know the person's name that did it. How would that make you feel? Would that make you feel like, gee, I live in a constitutional republic where I and my family have rights? Or would you feel like there's a three-tier system here? We get the elites who are above the law. I mean, even here, like the people who've just flat out committed treason are getting fired. They're having their security clearances revoked. If you and I did like half or a tenth of what these people did, we would be in prison for the rest of our lives and probably taken out back and shot. That would probably what would happen to us ordinary folk. But them, they're going to get fired. And they have the media out there, you know, with their little tiny violins out there crying. So you get the elite who are above the law. Hunter Biden has committed so many documented crimes, but somehow he's not going to jail. A whole bunch of these people, right? We know the crimes that they're committing. We can see it, and it's just, it's out there. Some of these people have admitted to the crimes that they've done. Then there's the second layer, coming down from the top. There's their minions. These are the people that work for the federal government. If they come onto your property, even if it's like, I don't know, the wrong house, and they come up and they shoot your dog, no problem. They're allowed to do that, apparently. Even if it's the wrong house, even if they made mistakes, they won't get anything more than maybe getting a stiff talking to. They can raid into your house, even if it's the wrong house, smash down your door, tear up your whole house, looking for something, and then they do an oopsie. We weren't supposed to be at this house. We got the address wrong. That has happened on numerous occasions. And then they don't even have the decency to compensate you for all the damage that they did. Nope, that's kind of on you. Hopefully you had insurance from the government coming and destroying your home. And then there's us. Then there's us down at the bottom. We basically get all of the laws are applied to us, assuming that we don't move into the minion category. If during protests recently you moved into the minion category for the Democrats, then you've got allowed to do whatever you want to do. You could burn cities and murder people, and you weren't going to get prosecuted, and they didn't get prosecuted. People can move from ordinary into minions. Well, they went after Donald Trump, didn't they? They thought that they could treat him like an ordinary folk, and they try to railroad him like they would normally, like a you or I. And let's just say it's not going well for them. He refused to be beaten down, refused to be destroyed or to disappear. All right, here's from Michael. This is a reminder to some of you guys, or maybe just a flat out warning to a bunch of you who never heard this before. Michael says lots of silver, quote unquote, US dollars for sale on eBay. Now let's just take that and just say all silver coins and gold coins for that matter. But they're fake. I keep telling eBay that, and they keep allowing it. Since they are making a profit, they don't care. Buyer beware. If the price seems too good, walk away. More than that, don't buy from eBay, okay? Don't buy coins that you haven't touched if you don't have somebody who's going to absolutely stand behind the legitimacy of that. Your local coin shop, legitimate dealers on the internet. Make sure it's a legitimate dealer or a legitimate shop that you can trust. Make sure they've actually tested it themselves to make sure that you're buying real silver or real gold. If you can't test it yourself, make sure that they test it in front of you, or make sure that there's somebody you can trust that they did test it. All right. You can lose thousands of dollars that way, friends. Please do not go, ooh, I found a bargain, I'm going to jump on it. Now, if you're into collector's items and, you know, sometimes you can find deals on eBay for collector's items, weird stuff, weird coins that have certain stamps and stuff like that. But if you're just looking for bullion, if you're looking for silver, gold, don't go that route, okay? Go to AppMex, go to Walmart.com and buy from AppMex. Go to SD Bullion, go to JM Bullion, go to one of these real dealers, okay? Or go to your local coin shop. You can get some great deals from your local coin shop. Daedalus says, update. I am friends with a restaurant owner in Westchester, New York. Eggs at Restaurant Depot were about $9 a dozen for him most recently. We'll update in the future. $9 a dozen, friends. And that's for the restaurants. How do you think you're going to fare? It's spreading, and expect to pay those prices soon everywhere or more. A watchman in Illinois says, my friend is a state of Illinois employee. All state of Illinois employees were notified yesterday by official email how to handle ICE coming after, the others. No information on the others is supposed to be furnished to ICE. Managers of the food stamp offices are to refer ICE to the ISP, Illinois State Police. They're not going to talk at all. Sounds like obstruction to me. Sounds like a criminal offense to me. John Doe says, this is important context or important reminder to you. From 1776 till approximately 1913, nearly all of the United States federal government revenue came from tariffs collected from every other country in the world. Now, technically speaking, it's paid by someone in the United States, but it comes from the purchase and sale of these foreign goods, right? That's where the person in the United States gets the money to pay the tariff, is because they're making money off of selling foreign goods. From 1776 to 1913, there was no federal income tax. Also from 1776 till 1913, inflation was 0%. Yep, that's right. A dozen eggs cost the exact same amount in 1913 that it did in 1776. Most people in the world never know this and would never comprehend what this means. So not only have we gotten hit with the income tax and other taxes, real estate taxes and all that kind of garbage, but we've also been having this massive inflation tax, a wealth tax that has been foisted on us as well. Our ancestors in the United States went just ballistic over a tax on tea. They weren't even dealing with a 2% tax across the board. And then the United States today, our tax rates are well over 30%, in some places 50% or more, if you count all the state taxes and all that kind of stuff. It's crazy what we put up with. Kim says, update, 22 years of service at the same postal processing facility. I've never seen the standards this bad. There are a lot of factors involved. Now, some of you guys will hear this and you're going to be like, Steve, you're picking on the post office. Listen, it's a massive bureaucracy. There's a lot of bad actors in the post offices, okay? There's some good people. There's some really good people, and if you're one of them, awesome. I'm not knocking you. But I think you'll probably agree that there's a lot of people, and an increasing number of people, that are not very good at their jobs. And the system is just getting worse and worse, like we'll see here. There are a lot of factors involved that make it the perfect storm. FedEx is no longer transporting U.S. mail on their planes. UPS picked up that contract, but it is limited. We now have east-west, west-east transfer hubs. The mail is taking 2 to 3 days from departure of facility to arrive at the other facility. Then, because of the consolidation of plants, the facilities are getting so much more mail at the facility than accustomed to being handled, staff, floor space, etc. At one point, there was so many containers of mail in our plant that the only open space to put incoming mail was process was in the front of the line on the machine, because the employees had just emptied a few containers of mail. So basically, the mail that came in yesterday or 2 days ago is still sitting there waiting to be processed, because mail that came in off the truck is going straight to the front, where there's the only space to put it. There's no mail flow coordinator, and many of the supervisors have been on the job for only a year. I am personally happy to say that I am taking advantage of the early out, the February 6th deadline to get the payout for retirement. But I am sorry to say the Postal Service will be losing many veterans with experience and knowledge. And the next generation of postal workers coming in, it doesn't look promising. I hope I'm wrong. It gives you an idea of why you might want to go to FedEx or UPS instead of the post office next time you want to mail something. Just keep that in mind. Also, there are ways that you can get cheaper rates of go on like a pirate ship on internet. There are places where you can get postage cheaper if you are going to ship something, by the way. So like Pirate Ship, it's a website. They have a pirate theme, but they give you lower rates. I've done that before a couple times. Cassidy says, Steve, this egg event is certainly a reason for people to start supporting non-corporate egg production. That is the actual lesson, but we are focused on shortages based on the word of testing. The internet is no longer a place to find history, but egg layer diseases have been used to cause shortages for more than 60 years that I can remember. My grandfather raised egg layers on his farm starting in 1926. He sold 80 dozen per week to the county store in Kansas. I have all his bookkeeping records, and before this, that time period, there was never a disease outbreak. He was in business from 1926 to 1976. Never had a culling event. It is time, everyone, to design their own food security and quality in their own communities. This is from Granny Annie's Farm. Egg substitute for baking and some cooking. 1 tablespoon golden flaxseed meal, and then 2.5 to 3 tablespoons of warm water. Stir until well blended. Let it set about 15 minutes or so until it becomes gelatinous. Longer won't hurt, and use in place of 1 egg. I saw where one person was making this in bulk and freezing it in ice cube trays for later use, 1 cube per egg. The instructions I read specified golden flaxseed. I have tried both, and I could find that the golden to work much better and has a better, milder flavor. So hopefully that helps some of you guys out there. And Tree of Life says, hint, it may be a great idea to invest in some Augustin Farms whole egg powder. In other words, if you want eggs that last up to 10 years and enjoy scrambled eggs, consider it a serious option currently. So down in the pinned comment down below, I'm going to put a link to flax seed. I'm going to try to find the golden flax seed that they recommend. And I'm also going to get Augustin Farms whole egg powder canisters up there. So if you want to stock up on eggs, egg substitute for baking or eggs for cooking, then down there in the pinned comment. All right, friends, thanks so much for joining us. If you want to get some more information from Genesis Gold about what you can do with your retirement account, there's a link right there. If you want to check out another video from the channel, there's one right up there. Thanks so much for watching. Steve Poplar of the Poplar Report, out.